Hey guys, my name is Joël and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For the video today, I asked myself the question, you know how people say start with what you have? Well, what happens when what you have isn't cutting it anymore? This is my story of how I've come to own the MacBook Air and how it's quite literally changed my life. And if that interests you, then like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends, your family, tell them we're out here working, not as consistently as we should, but we're working on it. I promise you it's gonna make sense very soon. However, do enjoy the rest of the video. Let's go. Whew, it is hot. It is very hot. Okay, so to start off, we're gonna go. Yes. Yes. Okay, so let me start right in the beginning, right? So for the longest of times, I've always felt like I'm a bit of a creative, innit? This thing died, and I had absolutely no clue. Anyways, let's go. So for the story, I gotta go way back when. First, I would say 2017, a bit earlier, a bit after that. I have a lot of creative friends, photographers, videographers, the works. And you know, when they would need help and I'd give them a hand, I always felt like I too belonged there, you know, and I wanted to create. However, it was only until recently that I realized what my issue was. I had imposter syndrome. English almost defeated me there. But yeah, so I just felt like not because I didn't think I wasn't talented enough to do the job or to get things done the way that I envisioned them. It was simply because my equipment wasn't quite up to par. You see, when Facebook came about and everyone was posting and whatever, I always felt like, I don't know, because until recently, I never owned like flagship or top of the range model phone, you know. And I always felt like, you know, my stuff was a bit pixelated, the quality wasn't as high, and that stopped me from working, man. That stopped me from showing the world me and what it is I love. Yeah, I hope that, you know, if there's a couple of lessons to take from this video, let one of them be this, that it doesn't always necessarily mean what you have cannot get you where you imagine you can get to. But the point that I'm making is that, think about it. Back then, I was too afraid because my quality wasn't as good. However, right now, the things that were considered to be more negative are now celebrated. Back then, if your pictures were pixelated, it's not high quality, etc., etc. But now people are charging an arm and a leg to shoot film. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, I guess the first lesson is just don't let whatever, you know, limitations your equipment has, I guess, define whether you begin or not, you know. So yeah. Okay, and for the second lesson or the second chapter in the story, fast forward to 2022. So I've just been accepted to go study in Cyprus. You know, as people obviously know, your family knows that, oh, okay, you're going to study, etc. My uncle, who's in London, bless his soul, man, he wanted to contribute a little bit, you know, and we kind of agreed that, okay, cool. He was gonna get me a phone and a laptop because I had told him my dreams, man. I told him my goals that I want to achieve in life, and essentially it boils down to being a filmmaker, right? I want to create movies. I want to shoot, direct documentaries that have impact, like proper impact in people's lives. I'm going down a tangent. The point is, you know, he knows my dreams and he wanted to invest in them. It is a big blessing, you know, because how often do you get people that really, even if they might not necessarily get your visions at first, to just be there like, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna support and invest. And that is something that I'm extremely grateful. Bonjour. I'm extremely grateful for, you know. My uncle flies down to Cyprus and yeah, we go to a different town there called Girne. And we chilled there for like a couple of hours having lunch. Or was it even breakfast? I think it was breakfast lunch. Um, and he hands me a little suitcase there with all sorts of gifts and that, and I was so grateful. And I seen my laptop was there. I was gassed. And then he hands me over the new iPhone, and I looked down at it and I was like, "This is the 14 Pro Max." And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No, I thought it was genuinely a joke because we had agreed on like a 12 or something like that." And he told me that, like, listen, when he seen my what do you call it, report card or whatever it is, my transcript, he was really impressed, and he was like, that showed him that, you know what, I wasn't just all talk, like I was backing my talk with actions, and I wasn't there to play, man. I went to uni to really pursue this dream of mine. And yeah, I was just so gassed because, like, when we were going back home, I was so emotional. I was like, I've got the same phone as Kim Kardashian, bro. I don't know why Kim Kardashian. Maybe it's because we're watching Keeping Up the Kardashians. Tell me in a relationship, right?
From this, please. That's a cutie. From this to this.
I've never owned like a flagship model, and for me to own what I consider to be the best, especially when it comes to like content creation, I didn't know what to say or what to feel, but I just knew that, like, finally, we get to show the world, I guess, like what's been inside here for many years, and through this phone, I got a scholarship with my uni because I was now um, part of the team for content creation, um, and yeah, fully paid, scholarship, and I got work. Like, I started making money um, from doing gigs left, right, center, and I mean, we got to start this channel, which has been a dream of mine for the longest time, and literally 99% of everything you see on my page has been shot on this phone that I'm currently using to shoot this. So yeah, big blessing. And finally, it's like the equipment almost like caught up to my expectations, and now we were unleashed, man. Like, nothing could stop us. But let's go chapter 3. So for chapter 3, it's mostly to do with my evolution within the art, okay, so to speak. And I remember it was around towards the end of 2022. I'd already been saving up um, for many a month since, to get a drone, and I ended up getting the DJI Mini 4 Pro, um, which was huge because in that town I was like the third person to have a drone, at least of that kind of quality. I was just like beyond, like, going crazy because I was like, yo, not only have we now just started, but we've just catapulted ourselves to like up there, because we could create many of things that a lot of people couldn't. I apologize for my rowdy neighbors, but yeah. So that was me. I just gone from zero to what feels like 100, just like that. And I took advantage of that. Looking, I should put an asterisk there because when I think about it, I could have done a lot more, and I was sometimes not lazy, but I would say I didn't really tap into the adventurous side, and just being like, let me just go out for the sole purpose of shooting something. I don't know what, I don't have a plan, but let me just go and do that. Sometimes I feel like my planning nature and wanting control is sometimes can be a thing that can be a fault, because now I'm not gonna go out because what am I going out for? But I come to realize that, like I said many months ago, that there's beauty everywhere you are, and it's all about just choosing to go and see it. Which we've changed, but that wasn't always the case. So yeah, I must say at this point that I need to give my, like, utmost gratitude and thanks to two people specifically. One would be my girlfriend Nyanka. She's the one that taught me how to edit on CapCut. She showed me how to, the little tips and tricks and stuff like that. And I would not be the editor that I am if it wasn't for her. Truly, she taught me from zero. Like, it's easy to have a dream, it's easy to go and shoot to a certain degree, but how to portray it in the edit is a skill that she had way before me, and she was a great teacher, and like I said, she taught me everything to get me started, and here we are, man. So to you, Nyanka, I'm madly appreciative of that, and thank you for teaching me, because now we're here, And the second person I've got to shout out is Peter, um, my Nigerian brother. So he had he was basically who I wanted to be in the future, right? He'd already done a lot of things that I was still looking at and being like, oh, I want to do that someday. He's had a studio before. He's had big gigs and done the adverts, done the video shoots, and all of these different things. The music video shoots, all of these different things, and I was always aspiring for that. And he had all the gear. He was always like the tech guy, and he put me onto a lot. He put me onto how to shoot, how to compose a shot, how to all these little technical things that I didn't know. And he also taught me like color grading. So shout out to you, bro. And he's actually a very big piece of the story. But for that, we'll go to the fourth chapter. Let's go. It begins with Peter, who we ended off with before. And before I left Cyprus, I lived with him for a bit because my lease was ending, and I needed a place for like a month, I believe, a month or two, before I could fly out again of the country and come back here. And he was gracious enough to let me live with him. And yeah, he put this little sticker on my laptop one day, because he was like, "Oh, Joel, you really need a MacBook, and let's manifest a MacBook by putting the sticker on my laptop, as I'm showing you right now." And we were laughing about it and all of that stuff, but I knew deep down that like my whole workflow would be made so much more easier by being a part of the ecosystem, the Apple ecosystem, because to get my footage from my phone to my laptop was it was just extra steps. I had to use WeTransfer, and at the time WeTransfer could only let you do 2 gigs at a time. So it could be maybe 4 videos, right? So 4 videos, I'm uploading it to the cloud, then I download it through a link on my laptop, and then do the whole thing until all the footage was on my laptop. So it was like a whole lot of back and forth, but with a MacBook, I knew to be just airdrop, ding, it's in, and it makes it so much easier. But so that was always the dream, and that dream got to happen when I just went to South Africa in earlier in the year. I was about to leave. It was maybe a couple of days before I left, and I was like, "Yo, this is my moment to actually leave here with something," right? And for 2 reasons, I decided to sell my drone to essentially fund the laptop, right? So at first, I was not looking at getting a laptop. I was looking at getting a camera, my first big boy camera, right? And I was looking at the payment plans, and it was quick to see that I was just not going to be able to afford a camera, which is a big bummer to me, because it was like I knew I'm coming back to Congo where I couldn't use my drone because of the war that's happening in the east. And I almost got arrested already because of flying my drone, because it has a negative connotation to it. I knew I had to essentially not bring it back with me because it would just stay in my bag the whole time. And I was like, I'm trying to get money. So the camera was going to help me go and start doing shoots and, all of these different things that I planned on doing. But I couldn't afford it. So then it hit me that, like, yo, so I can't get a camera, but what can I get that will still elevate my work? And that's where quickly it came about that I could possibly get a MacBook. and the M4 Air just came out, and the prices was looking good. So I hit up my boy Emmanuel. This would not have happened without him. Let me just say, you know. So off we go, and we sign everything that we needed to sign, and I'm walking out the store with a MacBook. Sure, it's not the Pro, but these computers, man. First of all, if we are comparing it to the HP, it's night and day difference, right? The amount of processing power. Now, this is not a video where I'm gonna go into like the details of the hardware, etc., like the processor. All I'm just gonna say is that something that would take me 2 hours to do on the HP would take 30 minutes, if not less, way less on the MacBook Air. And the mere fact that ever since I've come back, days when we don't have electricity, with my HP, I needed it to be essentially connected to electricity. Whereas with the MacBook, mate, that thing does not want to die. I could work on an edit for hours and hours and hours, and it's still only hitting 50% at that point, you know? So it's taken me to just the next level. And with that now, I started using, I'm learning DaVinci Resolve now, which is, I would say, an industry standard for filmmakers. And the great thing about it is that it's free, or at least the free version of it. It entails so much that you will not lack anything really with the free version, which I'm using. Shout out Lefa for teaching me a lot of it, because with him we've been doing a lot of edits, which has obviously been the reason why, which has been a source of income as well, which is the whole point of the upgrade. I've never looked back since. Of course, I miss my little baby, my drone. It was a tough time to accept, to be like, okay, we're letting go of this, but I know it's in great hands. It's with Lefa. I know that she's not gone forever. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, and it's actually tough also for Nyanka, because she was like, oh, your little baby. It was like, there was so much attached to it. But that's the thing about this journey as well, right? Is that you can't ever be idle either. You want to have the best things to help you out with that. And for me, this was the next step, the next logical step. And yeah, again, madly grateful that we are here. I guess it's just like a conclusion, innit? You know, it's been some story, you know, some journey so far, and I know that 2026 is only gonna be even crazier than this. I'm planning on getting my first big boy camera. I'm planning on doing so many more projects, and keeping this channel extremely busy. There's no excuses now, you know, there's really no excuses, and I'm taking all of this in, and this is like my public, keep me accountable at that. But I don't even think I will need that, because if you think we've done great things so far, I can't wait for you to see what we have in store, because it's gonna be insane. But the lesson that I wanted to share as well is that, you know, you really have to believe in your dreams, man. Not only see the vision, but believe it so much so that you're willing to go to the ends of the world for it, you know, and be willing to make the sacrifices, however big or small it may be, for what you believe in. Stand 10 toes deep and pray about it and visualize it. And, you know, something that I didn't necessarily think about, my little sister told me was that when I sent them a picture, right, on the family group chat, and she was like, yo, you've just gone from having a laptop that was essentially acting like a MacBook to owning a MacBook. And it really took me aback, because I was like, damn, without necessarily thinking about it every day, the mere fact that every time I was opening that laptop, I always imagined myself owning this piece of equipment. And it was like, once I got it, and once she sent me that message, it was like, you really did it, you know. And to maybe people watching, they could think of it like, it's just a MacBook Air, bro, you know what I mean? Like, chill, calm down. And maybe other people will think like this is me almost like bragging, like, oh, look at me. But if you know me, you know that those are two things that are like so far away from me. or from the type of person that I am. This is merely to update you guys on the journey so far and give someone that hope that, like, yo, just go for it, man. Some will believe, some won't, but at the end of the day, believe it, dream it, achieve it, man. And I'm in the process of achieving things, and with these wins along the way, it makes me just that much more like in tune with those dreams and those visions that I've been having for years, and it tells me that I'm on the right path. Yeah, I just can't wait for you guys to see how, like, what I'm talking about, and very soon you will see. God willing, we will be going mad places next year. Well, what happens when what you have isn't cutting it anymore? People often say limitations is an invitation for, like, creativity, right? And I hear that so much because I've lived it. Like, I'm in a place where there is noise everywhere, and it's like you have to be creative about how you do certain things, when you shoot, how you shoot it. The sun has come in and out, but it's like, again, how do you adapt to it, and what's the best place to position the camera, or do this or do that. And there's just so many endless things that I could say is like limitations, but at the end of the day, you have to work around it, and that's where your brain has to kind of function extra to be like, okay, what's a creative way of doing this and that. And maybe I'm very boring, you like to see different things, but for what I have, this is the best I could do for the moment. Tomorrow can change and I can think of even better, more creative ways of shooting things and stuff like that. But it pushes you to do more, and I think that is something that in the moment sometimes you can feel like, why are things so hard and difficult or whatever. But when you look at it, the bigger picture, you're like, whoa, that was like, I would have never learned this technique unless I was in that position, so it's always good to be taken from everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. Everything has a lesson to teach you. Anyways, guys, that was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did recounting it. um I love this game, man. I really, really love everything about this, and I hope I may do it for as long as I'm alive, man. Like, these little wins feels like everything to me. And I don't know if I've spoken about it on the previous video, but I am so grateful to all 312 of you that are here. I don't know if by the time I post this, if it will still be on 312, it will be a bit less, a bit more, but it's over 300 of you, man. Like, just to think, when I started, when you start something like this, your friends and your families maybe are like the first people that like subscribe and showing love, but that was maybe the first 50, 60 people, and now we're at 300, over 300, and it's like, it's mind-boggling for me. I don't think I could fit 300 people in this backyard, so it is immense, man. I am deeply grateful to each and every one of you for taking the time out to watch my videos and interact, whether it's a like or a share or a subscribe. It means the world to me, man, especially with the places I imagine we're gonna go to, and you guys will be there every step of the way. It's only the beginning. 300 of you and 300 million more. So let's keep subscribing, liking, sharing, and yeah, let's keep growing. Happy holidays to each and every one of you and your families and your loved ones. Stay safe, and let's get into the new year on a determined note that 2026 will be our year. I bless. Love.
Yeah. Do upside down.
It feels like I'm holding nothing.
Be careful.
You think?
It's like the edges. Whoa.
Criticism.